One thing to think about when you first start drawing is your posture. It's really important that what you do is you don't have your paper flat on the desk. When it's like that, what you tend to do is hunch over your work, scrunch your body up, and people tend to hold their pencil very tightly, and so it in turn produces very tight work. The best thing to do is to prop your work up. If you've got an easel, that helps, but just to prop up your board like this. And immediately, once it's propped like this, it makes you sit straighter at the board. Your back flattens and you're able to work from the shoulder. Rather than scrunching and hunching, you've got this movement. It also helps you when you're drawing curves to make sure that you move your paper around. Don't forget that your paper's not fixed. So if you want to make a nice curve, using this part of your hand as a pivot, you can pull down and do a really nice curve. Turn again, and you can curve again. If you try to do it when you're scrunched and hunched, you tend to be very, very tight, and you find that the line isn't anywhere near as flowing. So always remember, put your board propped up, make sure that you work from the shoulder and that you move your paper around and that it isn't fixed. Now, the sort of paper that you should use ordinary sheets of photocopy paper or any plain paper that you can find plenty of. You don't need to worry about it because you're only practicing. Don't get precious with your paper. When you move on to doing something a bit more special, then think about getting some good quality cartridge paper. But for now you need a cheap source because you need to do lots and lots of practice. The next thing to think about is pencils. What pencils do you use? Learners often ask me this question. This is a typical pencil box that you can buy, and it contains all the numbers of pencils that you could possibly need for shading and drawing. Pencils are usually hard and soft. They start off in the middle with an HB and an F. An F just means fine. Then they go into the soft. All the soft pencils usually have a B number, so they start off with B, 2B, 3B, and right up to 9B and sometimes even bigger. The bigger the number, the softer the pencil. On the other side are all the hard pencils. These are all the H's. They're generally too hard for anything that we're doing, shading and drawing. They're used by technical drawers and generally far too hard for what we do. The pencil I'm using at the moment is a 9B, and if you put a lot of pressure on it, you can see you get a fantastic dark with it. And if you take the pressure off, you get shading that goes right down to nothing. The more you take the pressure off, the lighter it becomes. As you can see, my pencil's well sharpened. This is a pencil that I've sharpened with a craft knife, and it gives me a nice long point. And it's really useful when you want to draw. You can see around the point. I find quite often when I go to see learners that they've actually got very stubby, short little pencils, and it doesn't really help when you're drawing to have it as short as that. So nice long lead really is useful. And I'm going to start to shade, pushing hard and letting off the pressure. And I'm going to change the pencil now. This was the 9B, this is an HB. So if I change the pencil and put the same pressure on, I have to push a lot harder to get it so dark. So you can see the difference between the two. And you'll find that this softer pencil is much grainier. than the HB. Now you're going to use your pencil to make marks. If you scrub with your pencil like this, what happens is you get a flat edge. And this is great for shading, especially large areas. I'm still using my 9B pencil. If you turn the pencil like this, you then get a chisel edge, and you can get very, very fine lines. And if you turn it back again, you get your flat edge again, and you're able to get stronger, thicker lines. And so you have two tools in one, just by turning your pencil.